Play number one, define the job before you hire. When it comes to hiring, a lot of companies are throwing darts, but they're not looking at the target. They just don't know exactly what they need, which is why we see job descriptions that are full of fluff. Team player, self-starter, strong communicator. Words that say nothing. Then they talk to a bunch of candidates, ask a few played out questions, and go with their gut on who to hire. And that's why we see a lot of do-overs in hiring. The best hiring managers, they don't leave anything up to chance. They define their ideal candidate before they start searching. Not with vague qualities, but with a list of specific measurable skills and compelling experience. They ask their teams, what problem are we really trying to solve with this role? What will this person specifically do to help us succeed? What would a top performer do in this role? If you can answer those questions, everything changes. Job descriptions get to the point, and interviewers focus on what actually matters. Here's a short checklist to consider. Number one, work with experts to determine the must-have skills, knowledge, and judgment that you'll need for the job. Number two, talk to top performers. Find out what really makes them so great. Number three, hone in on soft skills. They're underrated. Then, figure out how you can test them in an interview. Here's a few questions to get you thinking. What specific, measurable outcomes will this role achieve in the first 90 days? How about the first year? What 3 to 5 technical skills are absolutely essential from day one, and which ones can be learned on the job? What behaviors separate your existing top performers from everyone else? What hiring assumptions did you make in the past that didn't work out? If you identified one single critical skill that would predict success, what would it be? Story time. All right, first I'll go with a hire that didn't work out so well. At the time, I was doing a lot of hiring for software engineers. A new project came up and they wanted to staff it right away. I was like, no problem, I got you. We actually hired a software engineer pretty quickly, and he was great. He had the skills, the communication, he was a really nice person. So what went wrong? Well, we set him up to fail. It turned out we didn't really need a software engineer. The technical work was mostly vendor management. The engineer ended up quitting, he left with a pretty bad perception of the organization, and the project was delayed. It was a hard-earned lesson. Hiring, it's not just about finding a great person. You really have to understand the job first. All right, here's a more positive story. I was working with a recruiter to fill a senior position, and he wanted to reject an applicant that had no professional experience, which is not uncommon. I looked at the resume and, I don't know, looked pretty interesting to me. I said, you know what, let me just talk to them. In this case, the job was very well defined, and the interview questions were mature and well tested. The person ended up doing great in the interview, and they turned out to be one of the highest performing members of the team. Because of this person, the company was able to take on ambitious projects that they simply wouldn't be able to do if they didn't have a high performer. So, define the job before you hire.